In this episode, we are looking at two approaches when you are looking at and considering what your name of your organization should be, or maybe a rename for that organization. Welcome to the Scott Allen CreatiVLOG. In this episode, we are looking at two approaches in what you should consider when you are naming your organization or renaming. There are two ways to go about it, and what is the first one?
The first option is to be literal, and there's three examples that we have. It's Habitat for Humanity, Charity Water, Feeding America. Those are all very literal names. Obviously, you can immediately begin to understand what they're all about. And for some clients, that is the best solution. The second direction would be to be more aspirational, where you have an idea behind your name that really represents the heart of the organization or your vision. For like Nike, for example, obviously Apple, those are both aspirational names.
When should somebody be more literal versus a little bit more inspirational or, aspiration?
That's a hard one, and I think it comes out through research. I really do. Like, we had worked for Veterans Heritage Project, and they were deeply passionate about changing their name. And really, their key audiences are educators, and especially students and veterans. And some of the stakeholders really wanted to make sure that we had students and veterans in the name. And we had to assure our client that you don't have to have your audiences described in your name. And so Imprints of Honor became the name of the organization, because that really represented the true story of the veteran as well as the story of the student. The veteran leaves an imprint of their story that would be archived in the National Archives. And so they leave the imprint of their life, and the logo design was kind of a thumbprint within a star to represent veterans. And then the imprints that the veterans left on the student's heart was really for the lifetime of that student. The character, the life of service, the dedication, the putting others ahead of yourself. That made an imprint on the student's heart that they literally could carry with them the rest of their life.
And in another episode, we talked about in that design, if it's meaningful, it allows people to gravitate more towards that brand or that name or anything like that. So yes, we're talking about a name or renaming, but because the name was meaningful, everyone bought in.
Yeah, and you can tell the rest of the story. Obviously, we also told our client that your name doesn't have to do everything. You're going to have that name in the context of a video or a social media post or a headline on your website. Let that help explain and complete your story, and the name just draw people into that story. So don't demand too much of your name.
Well, we're not going to tell you what to do, whether it is literal or aspirational, but hopefully this helps you in considering, should you go one direction or the other? And that really comes down to the research that you do and the audience that you're talking to. Thank you for joining us today. We are Scott Allen Creative, a marketing agency that serves nonprofits.